Start with roll call. Steve Libring,
Here.
Matt Willems,
Here.
Scott Elliott,
Here.
Teresa Hartwig,
Here.
and Tony Perkins absent.
Gonna wear these all night, so now I have to wear them because can't see without them. All right, first item on the agenda is the meeting minutes from the September 2nd regular meeting. Those were sent to you in advance.
I move to approve the minutes from the September second.
I second it.
All those in favor? Opposed? Next are the special meeting minutes from the 10-2 meeting where we opened the bids for the Mariah Hill line. And you have a copy of that at your place. It was not emailed in advance, so if you do want to take a quick look at it. It simply states that we opened the bids and then list them in the same order as which we opened them.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from 10/2/25.
Second. Questions on them? All those in favor? Opposed? No public comments, still looking for a replacement for Matt, and we need somebody from the village, so.
I have somebody that is interested in,
Okay,
so
you'll get me their name and I'll get it to the, town, and assuming everything moves along, we'll move forward with it.
I thought maybe I'd invite him to November's meeting.
Yes,
So,
be a good idea.
So,
Okay,
I'll give you his phone number and name.
Okay.
and things.
Yeah. Sounds great. Because you'll be here for the November meeting, that'll be your last meeting. Yes, okay. Reports, you have the reports, really wasn't, of course, things are winding down a little bit as the year starts to slow down for us as far as making water. One of the things, if you look at the report that Jane generates for the month of September, the 9/31, you'll see that the EDA account is blank, it's zero. That we got the last check, that is done. And also the capital improvement account has the $100,000 that the county pays us every year for the treatment plant and stuff. And that account has $517,431. So that is the balance we have available in the capital account going forward. Okay? Really nothing else, not much else going on. Any questions on any of that? All right. Oh, and we're reconciled through August, which is important because that's the number we use for the budget, and transfers are done through August. GIS system, we're not gonna say much about that, Chris, but when we go through the budget tonight, we're gonna need to start talking about assigning some budget numbers to that and where they gotta go, and I've got some in there, but we're gonna, it'll be line items when we get to it, okay?
I had the exact numbers for you, so
Okay.
I was gonna give them to you earlier and I forgot.
All right.
And guess what they're laying?
Yeah.
Right where I put them.
Yeah. But, we'll get on that, that GIS will be a topic in the, budget.
You have there, is that for the GIS, the estimate 10K?
Yeah, 10K, that's kind of what I'm working with right now, but I've got line items on the budget where numbers gotta go, for computers and for the contract, so, and the 10K, one of the questions was the amount of work we were gonna contract out to catch up. might change that. The tank, I don't think we shared pictures with all of you, but the tank repairs, remember we had the rusty, I'll call it, ladder thing in there, safety harness, attachment points, that has been completed, it's done. All good, tank's full again, moving on. You haven't filled it yet? Thought you were gonna do that this week.
I'm waiting for the peroxide to go away.
Ah! I figured it'd be gone by
No,
now.
I wish, trust me.
Okay. So it is completed,
It should
and
be this week, it really should, so.
Chris is gonna fill it at his convenience. Next up was the Holiday World, Holiday Village, the EDA project. We did receive the final check, as I mentioned earlier, so that project is complete, it is done. They'll be back, I guess sometime next year, if there's any erosion or anything like that they gotta take care of, but driving down along it looks pretty good, so.
Yeah. you're right.
All right, Rye Hill Line. The special meeting on the second, we just approved the minutes, we had 10 bids. All considerably lower, well, not all, 7 of them, 8 of them, lower than the engineer's estimates. And, myself, Chris, and Russ, and Ed did meet earlier to just kind of go through and review some very detailed stuff. But, at this point, I will turn it over to Ed to kind of talk about, you have a letter, well, you gonna hand one out, or?
Yeah.
Everybody's got one. I've got one.
Kind of got a typical bid recommendation packet for everybody. The top sheet's a letter from me just recommending awarding to their low bidder there at SLB Pipe Solutions. The second one's a proposed notice of award that we could issue tonight to the contractor to get them started on bonds, insurance, and their contract documents. And then the last one, everybody's got a full-size copy of the bid tabulation. I'm not gonna go through every item here, but 10 bids is really good, very competitive. As Scott mentioned, most of them came in under what my estimate was, and that was based primarily on your EDA main project, so prices have gone down. $50 per linear foot, 12-inch pipe is, we haven't seen that in a lot of years, so it's really good price from that SLB. So just talk a little bit about SLB and then second bidder there. Copper Ridge is your, the contractor that completed the last project, trusted contractor for you guys. SLB, new contractor for you guys, or would be the first time that Midwestern's worked with them, the first time that Santa Claus has. They're kind of new to the game. They're only relatively young company, 15 years old or so. They do a lot of work in the indie market, especially kind of like the south side from 465 between really that, and then they do some citizens energy work for Indianapolis as well. But just talking with their ownership and project manager, they were pleasant, they used the word pleasantly surprised that they got the project. They didn't think that they were cutting it real close on their bid. They thought that they were a little surprised that they got the project and were happy that they did. More than willing to honor their price, said that they were really excited that they got it and they wanted to do the job for you. I called just because we hadn't done any work directly with them. My new company, or Midwestern's new ownership, CHA's worked with them before. And then I called several other engineers that I work with other water utilities, and kind of get the same message from everybody. You hear, I don't know, like a young company, some inexperience is definitely a word that gets used a lot. One of them or green, green would be a term that I heard a couple of times. So they're not as established as like an infrastructure systems or somebody that's been around for 40 years doing infrastructure work. But no, like I didn't get any like negative responses that said we wouldn't work with them again or we wouldn't hire them again. Pretty well everybody I talked to that worked with them, they were hired through a public bidding process, just like what we have here, and they were the low bid. So there wasn't like any huge turnoffs to these guys. A lot of it was just, come down to how they worked well with the inspector, and they just had a little bit of experience, and they worked through some stuff, took a little bit longer. But with schedule not being the absolute highest priority on this project, I think that from everything I've heard, we can deal with a little inexperience or getting off the gate a little bit slower for the cost savings.
And just in case you don't recall from the contract we've already signed with Midwest, Midwest is providing the on-site inspection services for this project. So, and just as they have on the others, they'll be working closely with the contractor, monitoring the contractor very closely.
Troy Eichert's going to be the inspector on this, and he did a lot of the EDA line. He's good about being a teacher, really. He was a superintendent before he came into the inspection world, so I think he'll be a good match for these guys, from what I've heard. So, again, I don't have any like ill feelings or just going to have to work through like any other project, but we recommend that you guys award them the project. I think between Chris, Russ, Scott, at any one time, they're not gonna put 3 crews on this. This will be like a 1 crew job probably. And that's what I heard a lot too, is that they might have like an 18 crew that's been around with them for a longer period of time. And then, maybe that crew's really experienced good, but maybe their B or C crew, is a little bit younger, so. And they're training some guys, so. But they're far enough north. When I talked to their project manager, he thought that they'd probably have a crew that would like stay in town for the week, and then instead of commuting like back and forth to Bedford every day, they'd probably just stay in town.
So Troy's with them, we should be in good hands.
Yeah, I agree with that. So he knew their owner too, personally, a little bit. He's from that Bedford area, so he knows. So I'm sure he'll end up knowing some of the guys that work on it too.
And Chris has been heavily involved in this project with the local landowners because of the type project that it is and what we're doing. So he'll be continuing to interact with those landowners also.
I'll definitely stay in touch with all of them, so.
If you don't have any questions or anything, what we would need if we want to move forward on this is approval to issue this notice of award based on Midwest Engineers' recommendation to SLE Pipe Solutions out of Bedford, Indiana, for a low bid of $748,655.
I'll make a motion to approve SLB Pipe Solutions LLC's bid of $748,655 for the Mariah Hill project line.
I'll second.
Any more discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. And you got one of those you want me to sign? I'll just do that now.
I have one question for Ed.
Yeah.
When you talk with them, can you make sure that they're aware that these invoices have to be sent to the county for payment from the ARPA funds? So it's gonna be a little bit longer of a delay.
Yeah, we'll talk with them on that.
Okay, just so,
Yeah,
I mean, I
you're-
just want them to
you're
kind of
talking-
be aware of what to
Yeah.
expect and
So-
stuff, so they're not,
You're talking to cash flow, so they submit
I'm
the
talking-
application
Yeah.
to you guys, then you turn around and ask for
it's
reimbursement.
gonna, it's gonna
from
take
the
a little
county.
bit longer because they submit it to us, they'll approve the actual invoice, but then I have to then turn it to the county for them to put on their vouchers. So it is gonna be a slower turnaround than is normally,
Does their so that it gets approved or reviewed at their commissioners meeting, right? Okay.
so.
So they don't wanna sit on it, they wanna,
Yeah, they wanna get them to us as soon as possible, so we can get them out as soon as possible,
make sure they
so.
know when our board meeting is, to not wanna miss one on our board meeting, because it would really delay. Yeah, it would really delay it.
Right, just having that extra, having to send it is gonna cause a little bit longer, you know, with them being
Yeah.
a smaller company too. I don't want there to be any hard feelings or you get a lot of
Yeah.
grief about things that, I mean, I
Santa
feel like we should
Santa
like,
Claus financing.
just
I've heard that one before.
explain that up front when you're in conversation with them so they're aware.
So
Speaking of
what's-
Santa, okay.
What's the remaining balance that we have with the county?
I sent it to Scott today, was it 511,000 or something like
Yeah, I'll
that.
tell you in a second, but we're about to spend, somebody wants, $17,829.48 Midwest is asking for their, just their monthly, you know. This one's actually dated 9/8. You should have a copy of that at your place.
Well, I make a motion to approve the invoice from Midwestern. The invoice is 20240800005 in the amount of $17,829.48.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? And to ask your question, prior to this invoice, $511,794.55. Yet to spend out of the 600.
I'm well surprised they're not getting a little antsy asking them where you haven't spent it yet.
We're getting it,
What's our time frame again, Scott?
in the next year.
End of next year.
Yes, and the completion date on this, Ed, was, what did we come up
It
with?
depends on when we set their contract times, but it'll probably be September-ish of next year. We'll give ourselves a few months buffer.
Yeah.
It really should be a 3 or 4 month job too, so there's some extra time in the contract too.
Okay, I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I'm going to.
It's a good time to do it.
Just might as well do it. So this is phase one of the project, on running the line to Mariah Hill. Since we are substantially under, Ed's original estimate, and we are way under the money that I thought we had available, we need to start thinking about how we want to move into phase two. Original discussion kind of had, my thought was, you know, once this contract was let, we kind of saw where we're at. We would get Ed's group started on engineering it the rest of the way into Mariah Hill. We have a lot of easements going into Mariah Hill, but there are some questions on certain areas where we, Chris and Ed need to look at it and decide if we need to cross the road, come back across the road, yada, yada. But one of the options, and this is not a decision that would be made now, it would have to at least be a few months from now, is to have this contractor extend, do a change order and extend what they're laying. And there's a couple places, they need to look at it a little more, but there's a couple places where it makes sense to maybe go this far and stop. It's places where, you know, you catch 3 or 4 more houses, which is, you know, better water, fire protection, those kind of things. you know, even if the contractor was even interested, so that would all be. But that's kind of what we're kicking around. You know, I'd like to see us get through the budget and stuff, but December, probably need to know what we're thinking, which way we'd like to go with this phase 2 project, and would we like to push part of it into this phase 1? Okay, so as we go through the budget, you'll all get a better handle on where the numbers are at, what we have available, and that sort of thing. Okay?
Just a quick question, is that something, you know, easily done with the change order, or would we get Greg up for not bidding if that's a project?
It's kind of a legal question, I'll let Kevin answer it officially, but there's a threshold, there's a amount you can change.
Okay.
Like there, you can't just, you know, say, all right, well, let's give them the same project again and do all of phase 2. There's I think I heard 15, and Teresa just mentioned maybe 20. It's, you know, it's sort of small, I mean, you can definitely.
20 as in percent?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
of the project.
Or of any substantial quantity, in this case, it would be like the footage of pipe, so we have 8,000 foot of pipe, you know, that threshold would probably be around 1,000 to 1,500 foot extra.
But if they're already a little bidder originally, and they already have all their equipment on site and everything, then it's probably lower interest.
If this were to happen to come out at
Yeah.
the same time, it just.
I don't think we would go all the way around here by the time this one's done. We wouldn't be able to do that, but we could, it would appear, and we will have to get through the budget, it would appear just on the surface that we could engineer all the way to Ryan Hill, and if we could extend this contract, we could put a few more than 1,000 feet onto this contract, and then at that point, come up with a plan to go the rest of the way. So,
Is that something, Scott, you want us to think on for next meeting?
yeah, think on between
Think on
now,
the engineering
yeah,
procedure?
probably between now and December.
Okay.
Always wants to kind of kick it around, you know, everybody kind of think it over. I think going through the budget will help you get a little better handle on where the dollars and cents are. Okay? Okay, we were done with you.
Hey, that's for dinner.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you when I get back.
Have fun, and shoot a couple grouse, huh?
I'll do it. One late tonight,
The cross connection backflow testing, we passed the original ordinance, at some point we need to update that ordinance. I am not planning on really tackling that, maybe after the first year. Okay, we got our plate full between now and
But we have started implementing it already.
then. Yeah, we just needed there some new wordings come up.
We had to class.
Clarify some things, so we'll get there. Lead testing, new contracts in place for 2026, and we've already paid for the contract, so that's already.
So I've got a deadline of November 1st, so when I get back to 20th, it's on my calendar.
Okay,
I tried to call Will today. He didn't answer, so I didn't leave a message because I knew I was not going to be around this afternoon to talk, so
yeah.
I tried to do it this morning, so.
All right, so, that brings us to budgets. All right, and Wade, your first time, last time, where you going, huh? Yeah, I know. So we have two operating budgets to work on. One is for the revenue and one is for the, expenses. And we will do the revenue first, so that we know how much money we have to spend, or at least kind of a close idea. You should have this, it says October meeting at the top right, and then far right column says 2026 projected revenue. And I am just gonna go down through this, line by line. Start off with a general statement of, for the projected revenue, I did the same thing I've always done. Take the August, 8 months, scoot that out to 12 months, divide by 8, multiply by 12, okay? I did add a 2% increase to this, okay? And we're not planning, at this point, a rate increase, and I have yet to hear anything from Patoka saying they are. So the way I like to approach this is we will approach it as, Patoka's not raising rates, we're not raising rates, okay? If Patoka steps up and does something, then we can adjust. It's very easy for me to adjust our numbers based on their, if we have a baseline number that we agreed on prior to that, okay? First up is the residential, and that budget's actually gonna come down a little bit from what we budgeted in 25. It looks like we didn't get quite the growth in that account that we thought we might. But when you do the math, it comes out to that 734. Of course, these are to the penny. When I bring the November one back, it'll be zeros after the 734, okay? I don't do pennies or hundreds like before. Our commercial was better than expected. And I didn't really see a reason to make much of a change in the commercial. I didn't have really entities, anything that said, oh boy, it's gonna jump up there. Industrial kind of the same way. It almost is gonna come out exactly, it's gonna be a little higher than the 9,000 we originally budgeted this year. And then schools, I did put an increase on the schools, but that just got it up to about what the budget is for 2025. So that just, okay. Our wholesalers, again, we are seeing an increase in our wholesalers. Kind of good to see that, because remember, we had all that stuff back 2 years with the billing and all that we had to go through, and it kind of messed up everything for a while. But, I would feel pretty good about that 429 number. These little ones, inspection fees, we had $1,500 in it. Last year, we've only got 210 this year. So, but I don't have a problem, leaving both of those at 1,500, 2,500, or you could make 1,000 and 3,000, because the connection fees are pushing 2,700. When I do that, I'll make the inspection fees 1,000. That's down 500 from the 25 budget. And the reconnection fees, I'll make that 3,000 up from 2,500. So it's the same total.
So for that inspection fee, that's coming from like new builds?
Mm-hmm. I would assume that's what it is, yeah. 'Cause we don't charge inspections for anything else, Chris, do you?
The inspections, is that coming from that's coming strictly from
That'd be-
like new building permits inspections, water inspections?
How much does it come to?
Not much, that's
Not
why
much.
I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
Okay, I'll put check on.
That's the only thing I would charge for.
But it was $595 in 24. It's $210 this year. So.
Yeah,
The other one, the reconnection fee is it's fairly consistent. You know, it was 29 and almost 3, and then it was almost 25, we budgeted 25, and I got 3,000 wrote down going there right now, so. And I put a note to check on that one, so if you'll let me know.
And that's something that could be changed.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Oh,
All right, government and church, again,
It's how many will cover commercial?
yes. Government and church, we budgeted 30, with the 2%, they're around 27. You know, I know we're hitting, the end of the year for the churches is probably busier than, you know, my 8 months that I'm factoring, but, you know, it's not that much, so I'm making 27 something, it's, fire protection surcharge, that's just kind of running right along the, we budgeted 215, and that's probably pretty close to where it's gonna come out. And I put 2% on top of it. That water tax number, disregard that, that's the exact same numbers over on the expense side. It doesn't matter, whatever I put there, I put on the expense side. I thought about making it 100,000, just so it's a nice round number instead of 99. Penalties, we budgeted 35 last year with no increase, I'm coming up with almost 32, so probably just leave it at 35. Because I generally, when I'm doing these, I keep it $500 increments. Okay, connection fee, which maybe that's why, but we had budgeted 13.5, we're at 67.50. Considerably lower than the years present before that.
there's that one too.
You're gonna check on that one, so we're gonna put a check on that one and leave it for right now. This miscellaneous, we had 5,000 there last year, it came out to 45.72, so I would say just leave it at the 5,000. That is a catch-all account. Interest, we came in at, the math says 41, but I think that ought to come down. Interest rates are gonna be coming down, so I was thinking just maybe make it 4,000, bring it down a little bit from 25. And the others are just little ones, we didn't even have it, budgeted for non-sufficient funds last year. $200 popped in there, and then that cash change fund's always 100. So, leave it with 200 and 100. But that's gonna bring us something really close to that 2295 number down there. And we haven't gone through the expenses yet, but the number below that is when we go through the expense sheets, total on it. So right now, we're sitting on about 305,000 to the good. Before we go through the expenses and spend more money or less money.
Is there any big developments planned for the next year or something?
Not anything here, no.
Christine's is putting in the apartment complex.
Yeah.
I think that's 40 units.
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's gonna be over by Frosty's, the or Pat's
All
Anna's
dirt
now.
set there right now, so.
Across from Santa's Lodge in that area.
But probably not going to
Maybe
be.
it's back where we thought we
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna see that have an impact in 26, are you?
Depends on how
You
many
never know.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And if he decides to do it, I mean, it'll be done, believe me.
Yeah.
When they start something, don't mess around.
They don't, they pick it up pretty quick.
Well,
So, like the
I
second
mean, I don't
one
really
is,
think that you should
uh,
count on
fire
it as
sprinkler. I
income.
know we've probably got all of ours combined in the fire protection. What would fire sprinkler be if there would be such a thing?
there used to be an account for that, it's now fire protection.
Yes. Gotcha.
If you go back, wait, this thing goes all the way back to like 17.
Okay.
You can.
So, just for like future knowledge, so if, say a factory has a sprinkler system, they just get charged
Flat rate,
a flat rate.
yes.
And then if you have a fire hydrant, I mean, how does that work? If you have a fire hydrant, that's a rate, cause
The fire, so residential's all the same.
Yeah.
Commercial's a little different, so, but most commercial has.
I'm just kinda curious how we assess, like, you have a big factory that you have all this capacity in the sprinkler system.
Right. And that's,
To just like a fire hydrant sitting by your house.
it's,
How do we assess that?
well, like.
It's actually,
You put
charge.
it in where you
There's
can't-
a charge for the fire hydrants for
Yeah.
residential.
Well,
It's
but
not-
Fire
sprinkler
hydrants,
systems,
it's
there's
commercial like Kimball's,
There's
so
a-
they have a full-blown sprinkler system.
Yeah,
Which, that is included in their bill, and also they actually have their own arsenal of fire hydrants all the way around their building, plus we have ours, so,
right.
so I think they have.
Well, I'm just kinda curious
In
on,
our rate ordinance, there's a thing for sprinklers, I can't recall off my head how it's broken down, but there's a, it's based on, size. I
Size
think.
of,
It
yeah,
is.
it
Okay.
is.
well, I was curious, you know, because we try to keep all these water towers full for fire protection, and then
Yeah,
when's the last time we assessed, like, what that should be?
yeah.
You know, are we 1970s price from what, say, like Virgin charges
We
us?
changed that.
I'm just curious.
We changed that in the last,
21?
Did we?
Was it
it
in
was, yeah, it
21?
was just.
Okay,
It's-
it's recently been
It's
looked at.
been in the last 5 years.
I think it was in 21.
Alright, that was just
I
more
think
for
we did it
information.
when we broke the fire,
The minimum use, that's when we took out the minimum usage to the,
I thought we did something back when we put the fire protection surcharge in. I think that's when all that came.
I think that's what she was, I think that's.
Yeah, and that's been a little while ago.
Mhm.
That was one of the rate settings.
Right.
Time flies.
So something like that, say for this apartment complex, that'd be predetermined for the builder, like what that's, cause that would have to have.
I'm
sprinkler
certain they would
system.
have
Yeah.
a sprinkler system.
Yes,
I would think they would have to.
Any other, questions on the revenue side? Again, plan is I will take back the notes here. Jake's got her 2 things checked on, get some answers, we'll plug numbers in again. When we bring it back in November, you know, we're trying to fine tune it so that December we can approve it. Okay? All right, so that is revenue. All right, expenses are a lot more. Okay, the first line has nothing in it now, and it won't have anything in it until probably the one you get in December for final approval. That is the money we move over to our capital fund account. My And that number doesn't necessarily have to do with the budget, that number has to do with the way we've done it in the past. Cash on hand as of the end of October, and in the past, we've not wanted that number to be less than 700,000. So if there was $1 million in there, then we would take 300 out. Say we're gonna take it out, we won't actually do it until about March. And move that over to the capital account to be used for things like the Mariah Hill line. All right? I'm currently guessing that number's gonna be around $300,000 to $400,000. But again, we won't plug that in until the end. And if you look at the water expenditure sheet, on the very bottom of the sheet, for comparison purposes, I took that number out of the 23 and 24 final and the 25 budget. So, like, this one right now says we're at 1,989,000. Last year, we budgeted 1,956, year before that, 1,959. So you can compare the numbers, okay? All right, travel and training, we budgeted 2,000 last year, we haven't used much of that, but I would like to leave that at 2,000. I'm really encouraging Russ and Chris to get some of our newer guys trained to the maximum available, and I wanna make sure that we don't get an excuse that says we don't have any money left. So, I think it's important that we keep our, employees and operators, up and current. Transmission and distribution, we budgeted 21 last year, and pretty much looks like where we're headed for this year, so it's 20,600, and I'll round that to 21. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we're doing meters and hydrants together, because Chris probably thinks I can remember this, but didn't you take hydrant money to do something with meters this year or something? We spent extra in meters for a reason. So now I wanna know why.
The extra that they spent,
Didn't you,
I'm trying to think why I did that or something.
I thought you took it, you wanted some extra for whatever reason, which I don't care what it was, but you took it out of hydrants because you had like 4 or 5 hydrants laying on the ground already.
Yes, and then what hydrant money I used was repaired to.
Yeah. So I guess the question
Yes,
is,
I know what it was, I got them cheaper. That's what I got them, so.
and you had hydrants laying on the ground, so we didn't have to have hydrants.
Right, so.
So,
So I can remember you saying you got a discount.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I remember
Yeah.
once EJP got out of it and Core Main got into it, then all of a sudden, they had an access,
Right.
and they were saying, well, we got meters everywhere, where when I was wanting them, I couldn't get them.
yeah.
So,
So basically, last year, we budgeted 45,000, between those two accounts. And projection looks like, well, I know we're gonna spend less than that because we've already bought the meters and, you know, unless you get some hydrants or something now. Because as of right now, if you look, Chris is just over on meters and hasn't spent anything on hydrants. I guess my question is 45 between those two accounts sufficient? And is that division good, or if you look, since you have meters on the shelf, would you like to see that flipped in one way or the other? I'm okay with 45,000, get some estimate how to divide it up.
I think I still, I like to have line item.
Yeah, but how much in each item?
Well, so,
Last year, we had 25 in meters and 20 in hydrants.
so what Paul and I are doing next meter reads, we're gonna take, we really gotta look at our meters because we still got the SDR twos in the system. And so what we've done is the computer spits out the zero reads, okay? But it started to concern me, so we're gonna compile 4 months, pick out the ones, because we know the ones that are zero reads. We know nobody lives there.
Yeah.
It's a 99, or the house is empty, or something, but.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna take the higher number, I mean, we've had meters,
So leave the 25 in meters then,
Yes.
and 20, because 20 only gets you what, 4 or 5 hydrants?
and most, I think the hydrants that I do this year are gonna be rebuilds and raises some, so,
Okay.
but the parts that got so expensive, it's unbelievable, so that's,
Yeah.
I think that would be.
So 25 on meters and 20 on hydrants?
Yes, I think that would be sufficient.
Okay, that sheet I gave you that I said you're gonna need this after a while, that we've got to where you're gonna need it. So, this is other plant miscellaneous equipment. And we budgeted $2,500 and we spent $9,000 already. I saw the ammonia regulator in there and I remember discussing that, which is a $1,171 item. Then we got this Hack Company Corp water treatment. What is that? About midway down there, it's 23, 2176, and 574.
Well, the hop is where I get all my chemicals that I need for my testing.
Wouldn't that normally be in your plant? Plant operation and maintenance, wouldn't that normally be there?
This would be more of testing and. So, because I should have had, we actually bought a new ammonia head,
Yeah, I got that in a pump.
new chlorine head, and a new ammonia rotometer.
I don't know if I see that, but I see a pump.
Oh, yeah, then I bought a booster pump, and I think I also bought a brine pump too, so
Yeah, but see, those aren't in here, those are probably
those
in
come out of plant ops.
plant ops, which is where I would have thought the pump and the ammonia regulator would have come out of plant ops. I don't really care, but I don't wanna put it in one budget and have it come out of a different line, you know what I'm saying? Because we weren't expecting that to come out of here because we only had,
And I'm assuming we're looking at these negative numbers, right?
no, I don't care about the negatives, I'm looking at what we spent. Okay, because we,
Is this possible that this could have been COVID wrong, so?
well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, I don't rightfully care, but we
And we-
budgeted $2,500, we spent $9,071. I got another account down here, materials and supplies, that we budgeted 18,500 and we spent 6,000. So if we need to bump this one up and take that one down, I'm okay.
In 24, we spent 34 on it, am I reading that right? 34 on that line item?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we did, I didn't go back and look, but I kinda went, cause all the ones on the other side of it are like 1,500 and 2,000, you know. So I don't know if something got in there that didn't belong, probably is what happened.
Probably coding,
Yeah,
however it's
yeah,
coded,
that's-
and it, instead of being maybe in, plant operations, man, it's going in,
Yeah.
like, miscellaneous equipment, I would think wouldn't be, you know, I would think that'd be kind of, you know, something that would be odd, not,
Yeah.
you know, these pumps and heads would be,
We-
in my opinion, be regular maintenance,
Yeah, we plan
not
ops.
miscellaneous maintenance, man.
And there's 35, there's $5,000, $6,000, $5,000 in just a couple of items there. And if those should have been in plant, then I could just round plant ops up a little bit and round this down. You know?
Yeah, 'cause I already know that we're looking at find out the boring head and ammonia head.
Right, but those should be in
Yes.
plant, it
Yes,
shouldn't have been in here.
Where those from?
Ammonia was 1171,
and there will not be any price change on that, so I checked on it, so.
So Chris, if there's any on there that you're questioning, we can pull the invoice to look and see what was actually purchased, more than just that description.
Well, I think what he was asking was the water treatment, the Hawk Company cord was up one you asked
Yes.
about. We actually have two of them, don't we, so.
there's two hawks,
But that are negative.
well, and they're just big numbers, and if that's supposed to be, and if that passed, that's been in, you know, and you've got, just above that, you got the 1171 for the ammonia regulator, and you got these two for Hawk. And then down there, you got a pump for 1318. If I take those out, that's 28, 29, 3,000, 4,000, 5, that's 5,300. I'm getting real close to what we budgeted.
Yeah. The,
So I guess my question is,
so the B.L. Anderson pump, let's see what we coded that as.
Mark it on
it's
that
in here.
sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. so
Just mark
we
it
can
somewhere
go
on
for
there,
this.
if you have a pen, here.
I get one somewhere, yeah. We'll look at this jam when I get back.
Yeah, just mark the ones that you want
But you
looked
got
at, and we can go through it.
two from B.L. Anderson, 1171 and a 1318.
Yeah, and I know what those are. I mean, those
Yeah.
were, booster pump for my chemicals and ammonia regulator that went out on me, so.
And then you got the hack, the, stuff for water treatment, it says. And then there's a 1225 from Water Solutions. It's gas for the, water plant, I'm saying,
Yeah, that would either be ammonia gas or.
and that should be operations, that's plant operations.
Yeah, I need to look at that one too, so.
Just mark them and
I
look.
got them, so.
Yeah,
So let me know, I'm gonna leave that one open for now, let me know on that,
The only explanation I can give for that is they got cold pumps.
yeah, and if that's the case, all I gotta do is total those up, I'll
Yes.
take them out, I'll add them into plant ops, and I'll make the plant ops budget correct. You know, if you wanna uncode it, you can, I don't care, but
we can correct them if you want us to correct them.
I need them
As long as they're
correct.
done by the-
As long as I know that, hey, those should have been in plant ops, I'll just simply add them up.
Actually, I thought we had something other than. For like,
Plant ops gets everything. If it touches the water plant, it goes to plant ops,
okay,
you know?
I get a little of that.
Yeah. So look at those, make sure that's what they are, and if they are, just, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 invoices marked.
I got four, what's the other one you got?
I got, well, you got 2 Hawks, you got both of them?
I got both them,
And then I got the 1318 for the pump,
And the 1225.
and the 1225, which is some kind of gas for the
Yeah.
treatment. And then the 1171, which is the ammonia head.
It's still the same before.
11, start at the top, 1171,
Got it,
2321,
got it,
574,
got it.
131873.
That's all I'm missing.
Okay. So let me know on those and we'll go from there. Okay, well maintenance. We budgeted 120 last year with no increase. I'm looking at 110,246. But with that big and that type of equipment, I'd like to see some increase in that. The other thing is, you still haven't decided if you want a second well. So that will be, because this number represents one well, and a well's $35,000.
I still think we go with what we talked about. We go ahead and put two in.
Just put 2 in there,
Because
and,
I don't, because it was, I've never pushed it like I did this year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the same, as
okay, so we will up that by 35,000. I think I will up it by 35 for the second well. And I'm gonna add about, let's see, I'm gonna add another 5,000 for just, like a 5% increase, okay? On just the stuff that goes in there.
So instead of 110, you're gonna make it like 150?
150, yeah, it's gonna be around 150. Okay, office equipment, this is where we get into the GIS, Chris.
yes, and that's,
This is hardware, this is computers, computer programs, laptops, tablets, that kind of stuff.
so one of the big ones we need to discuss, I need to talk to Russ when I get back, is that we know we're gonna be using this app that we can put on our cell phones is awesome. I mean, it's, we can just send it straight to the equipment that we're gonna get.
Well, we talked about putting it on tablets instead of putting.
But it's by doing it on our phones and everything,
Mhm.
the tablet, we can have one tablet stay with wastewater or whoever, so I'd much rather see the water guys and at least 2 of the wastewater guys have it on their phones, which I talked to Russ about siphoning phones, which would be a line item 2, is if you put 6 phones on there, it's
It's $45.
6 times 45 times 12 is another line item, so.
Yeah, but it'd be down there in phones.
Right, so, but, I mean, I think that'll eliminate a lot of the other. Because with Ziptility, we went ahead and they downloaded that into our, put the apps on our phones, Paul and I and Aaron. It was remarkable what we could do with it.
Mhm.
I mean, it really is, I mean, it's.
So you're saying maybe 2 tablets is all you're after,
it's-
which,
Yes.
you
One
can
for-
feeding
One for
other,
wastewater, one for water,
yeah.
because you don't want the water guys bringing. But no,
We understand.
but- Yeah, so it's, but, so I can probably give you a hard number in November.
Yeah, I need a number, and
And I'm gonna give you those hard numbers that I have on, I'll get it, send that to you. So.
Do you have any other computers we're gonna have to upgrade in the office, because that's where this would be.
Mine just got done,
I don't know.
and no, I don't think so.
So, I put $2,000 in there, because it's an if I put $2,000 in there, that's more than enough for tablets or
Yes.
anything you need or anything at all, that ought to cover. Alright, so I'm gonna put 2 in there for that stuff. And now places to write. And, we'll go from there. Okay, next line item is transportation equipment. I didn't realize we were splitting with the water department, so my 45 is gonna become a 25. Made a little money there. Tools and shop and stuff, we had budgeted 500, we're gonna be closer to 1,000, so I was just gonna make it 1,000. Lab equipment, we didn't spend anything there. We'll leave it there. You do need something.
Apparently all that PFAS testing is idiot, so.
I don't know what the 799 is in power operated equipment, but we're not gonna worry about it, we're just moving on. Communication equipment, we spent a whole $35, we got 500 in there. I would just say leave it. If something breaks in the new well or tire or something. Other tangible plan. We had 65, we spent right at 6. Yeah, I didn't run that one. Why don't you print that down for me and email it to me?
The
348.
348, okay.
That's okay. See if we can come up with one. That general tax number, you can just skip that. Okay, so then you have all of the wage accounts, which I put plus 3%. Just been reading the note. Jane tells me if the town approved 4%, Russ would like 5, so I'm just gonna make it 5% on the one you get in November, and we'll go from there. If we gotta squeeze a dollar or two, we'll know I got a little extra in there. But again, I like to have that well covered. I mean, we're well under budget from last for where we're gonna be. Patoka water purchase, I actually figured this, so like we had spent 319,000 through August. The September bill was 44,323. The last 3 months, we spent the absolute bare minimum, and so then I just figured that, and I plugged that number in there, and it's gonna be just slightly more than last year, based on this. Again, that's no increase from Patoka. If we do get one, it's easy for me to, once I have a base number, I can adjust these numbers quite easily. Telephone expense, okay, would this be where Chris is spending money again and,
It'll actually come out of payroll.
oh, it'll actually,
It goes on their paychecks.
oh, okay.
So it'll get tied into your benefits up here.
Benefits,
We're not buying phone either, right?
We do.
okay, so it'll just come through benefits. I'm raising that 5% anyway, and it's 80,000, I think that'll cover it, that's $4,000 a year, so.
Yeah, that'd be minimal.
That's- Yeah, that'll cover it. Okay. So this is coming out, we budgeted 3,000 last year, and that's about where it's coming out, so I was just gonna leave that alone, 3,000. Natural gas is coming out around 2, so I probably ought to add 25% to it, so make it 2,500. Wastewater's coming out at 27. Maybe even make a little more. We budgeted 30 last year, so I would say we just put the 30 back in there again. Yeah, we gotta pay the sewer department.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, get me on that stuff. That school's big.
Pay the sewer department to
Yeah.
dump water.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and they really like the fact we're sending them clean water because they need it for their system, so, you know. Power purchase, what I did on this one and the one right below it, there's 2 of them there, of course I'll round them. I had 30% to them. I did the math, and divided by multiplied by 12, and I had 30% of both of them. Okay? Materials and supplies, I have that list here in front of me, and it really looks like it is materials and supplies, big chunk of this is uniform. We had 18.5 in there, unless in the investigation of these other 2 accounts, we find things that should have been in there. I'm thinking we make that around, we had 18.5, I'm thinking we make it around 10,000. I mean, we could make it 12 if we think some of that stuff's gonna go up. But it's gloves, it's, it's uniforms, things like that. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it at 10. If the investigation leads to that being more, then we'll deal with it. Office supplies, we had 4,500, budgeted. We must have thought we were needing something because we've never spent that much, and I'm thinking maybe around $2,000. It comes out at 1,802, so. Yeah, that's just legal and contractual, we just make that $6,000, one of these days we'll get a bill. Okay. Contractual other, this is where the contract for the actual, GIS system will go. And how much, you're gonna tell me what that is, right?
I
Okay,
have the number, I actually have the exact number.
okay, and the other thing that would need to go in here, and if you're gonna contract this out for the catch-up, that would have to go in there.
Say that one more time.
For all the work orders you've done since the day we did this thing today.
Yeah.
And we talked about them or Midwest or somebody might have somebody who would do that.
I think it's,
Well, all the work orders have never been inputted. Yeah, we've had this thing done for a year and a half. And
we haven't put it anywhere
we
yet.
haven't put it in and put anything in, so we gotta catch up a year and a half. So I need that number.
So that number there,
So there'll be one contract with
I will
Zentel.
have an answer for you,
And then just add,
because I can ask.
but I need to know who's gonna do it, whether it's gonna be Zentility or Midwest or Joe's catch-up service.
I'm pretty sure when I had this conversation with Tyler, it was at Tiller. I gotta verify this, but I'm pretty sure
but I need a number.
Yes.
That is,
I will,
I think a year and a
I
half.
have part of that number. I have the
Okay.
hard number for,
So we're gonna add the contract here, and you have that number, and then we're going to add the, catch-up, I'll call it.
yeah.
And that needs to go in there. Right now, that,
Actually, I'm gonna talk to Paul before I leave. Cause I'm kinda curious about this now too.
yeah, we're looking at about a $34,000 number now before we add those items. Okay? And, transportation expense, we had 12.5 budgeted, we're at 15, but, I kinda think I probably ought to add 10 or 20% to the 15. Not gonna quit driving. 20% be 3,000, so I'll make it 18,000. That's 20% on to our running rate. Insurance, you told me it was going up 10%, correct?
Correct.
So
Might wanna budget just a little bit more though if you're getting a new truck.
I added 10% to the last number I had, which was 42,000 from, so I only had 26 in the 25 budget, so I ain't trying to figure that one out. Just 10% on top of the 42 that we spent in 2024 enough? Should I make it more like 50? I mean, we got the lines and all that.
Mm-hmm, it's probably gonna be more.
I'm just gonna make it 50 to help CYA ourselves. Well, that $20,000 is saved on that truck's going away fast.
I think it's gone.
Legal advertisements, we had a bunch of that, but with the EDA stuff and all that, we had a lot more advertisements. And I think all of our advertisements for this project will be pretty much done.
Self-funded.
Yeah, so we had 1,500 in there last year, I put 1,500 again because we just went a little over. Permits and fees, we had 3,000, we spent 3, I'd say we just leave it at 3. Bad debt, we had 1,500, who knows, but let's just leave it there. Refunds, we didn't have any this year, but we had 500 in there, we need something in there, so we'll put 500 in there. Miscellaneous, love miscellaneous, so, we had 1,500, we had 2,000, we'll just make it 2,000. And postage. We've spent 23 already this year, so something tells me we're not gonna make the 25. We had been in the 46s, and as fast as it's going up, the math says 35, but probably 4,000, 4,500. Let's just do 4,500. Okay. Bond transfers in there, that's a number.
Isn't that like debt reserve for escrow?
Hmm,
Is that like our debt reserve for escrow?
For our bond. Okay, that's our bond.
The Keystone account, billing and stuff, what's that come out of?
Contractual other.
Is that what it is?
Everything comes out of contractual other.
Scott, just a question, the two tower,
Yes.
is one the well field and the other the plant? Or the plant and the well field are under plant?
I think the plant well field are under plant, and then everything else is under everything else. Yeah.
So I can see that, you know, that number, even though it's high, but
Yeah.
I was just kind of
I mean,
curious.
well
where the-
field is,
I was kind of curious where the 18,000 comes in for other.
They could be boosters, they could be, which we don't have it's open anymore, so, but.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, so we spent 21, what was it here, where'd it go?
seems like a lot for just other, even
Yeah.
like building, you know,
And I might be a little, well, I added 30% to it, because we've only spent 11.8 so far this year,
yeah.
okay? But I added 30% to it, so that did kind of bump it up there.
Increase it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the well field, you know, water plant, we've only spent 80,000 so far,
Yeah.
but I jumped that number way up. I don't know
So
if we got center point anywhere, but the rest of them ain't gonna be far behind.
we don't have that much.
Center Point, I'm sure will, I'm not sure.
Center point already did, center point went up 32%.
Is that the well field? Or
Wellfield's
just-
already see.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so Center Point is the plan,
Oh,
and then the boosters would be, one would be REC and one would be Center Point.
yeah. Where's the two boosters showing there?
One
That's
was
what-
1350 and 475, and another was at school.
The coin booster station. Okay, I will, Chris owes me a couple numbers. Jane, there's two things for you to check, the detail, we'll sort through those.
Yeah, and I'll send that appropriation report for that 348,
Yeah.
and then I'll look into these.
And then I will,
Jane, I was gonna let you have the sheet. Because I won't see you again till 20, so.
how long you gone, Chris?
I'm back, I come back the 19th, I'll be back in the office on the
Okay,
20th.
so we'll pull these, and I'll have them ready for you when you get back.
Yeah, so.
And we'll go over them.
Well, that'll work just fine, because
But I may have all kind of good stuff.
my email, let me just shoot them. So I gotta get right appropriate to work on this. All right, vouchers.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Sign them.
I don't have a second copy of it. It is. Is that the same one? Okay, second copy. There's grass around here. Not many.
You'd be aware of it. The only ones I ever seen was when I worked with the Forest Service and I did the grouse survey in 80 or 81 when they first released them. So,
What is it?
grouse.
I'll second
All those in favor?
it. Aye.
We're adjourned.
Did you do this then?
Yeah,
You did?
get ready to
Oh.
tell everyone bye.